Welcome everyone to the workshop on skills to work remotely. Today I am with Rebecca and Maria from Komoot, and we will talk everything about skills. Thank you, Rebecca and Maria. How are you today?
Very well. How are you, Justin?
Fine. So yeah, super excited to talk about this today. I know a lot of people have a lot of questions about skills to work remotely. So let's start.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for having us, first of all. We are Maria and Rebecca from Komoot, and we will be talking today about the skills to work remotely and a little bit more around that. So maybe we can go straight into that.
Yes, let's do that.
I'm not so good in clicking presentations. Great skills. But in general, what we're going to cover today are 4 topics. What skills do you need to work remotely, at least from the point of view of Komoot? How do you know and how do you show that you have these skills to work remotely in your application when applying for a job? How can you show that you have these skills in a job interview? And then last but not least, we will cover how you can improve these skills to work remote. But before we deep dive or into them, we just thought that we will give you a little bit of presentation about Komoot and us and about the team in general. I am Maria. I'm the Senior Talent Acquisition Manager at Komoot. I've been with Komoot for 3 years and 2-3 months at the moment. When I started, we were around 30 people, and now we're close to 100. So in 3 years, we tripled in size in terms of employees, but also in terms of our product, of our features, and of our customers. We have more than 25 million users now. And a little curiosity about me, I'm an upcycling hero, very proud of my recycling skills and upcycling skills, and I can make myself understood in 6 languages.
Hello from my side. I'm super happy to be here today. My name is Rebecca, and I do work as a talent acquisition coordinator at Komoot. I'm with Komoot for 6 months now, and a little bit outside of that, I am bike packing addicted. So I just love to pack my bags, pack my bike, and explore the world. That's also how I got to know Komoot, so how I ended up here. And then also, whenever I can, I have a look out for some nice vegan restaurants, and always happy for some recommendations. If we come later to the question part, also always happy about good restaurant recommendations there.
And a little bit more about us, maybe if our product, what we develop is an all-in-one route planner and sharing app to share your outdoors experiences. We basically, in very short, we help people to get outside and to explore more of the great outdoors, whether it's on bike, or hiking, or mountain biking. We even have bobsledding as a sport, if someone's interested in that. Currently we have 25 million users and counting. So it might be 26 by the time you see this video. We have over 10 million downloads, really good rating.
Yeah, like Maria mentioned, Komoot was growing the last years rapidly, and also the pandemic helped us, as we are part of the outdoor industry, to grow and to triple our size since Maria is in the team. And also we got awarded several times as the app of the year, which then also helped the product growing. And in 2017, the co-founders decided to become a remote first company, saying that we now have more than 90 people joining us who are located in more than 13 different countries all over Europe. And I think even though Anya is working from South Africa at the moment, so we're quite spread everywhere in the European time zone.
So here's a little map of, I don't think it's all of our employees where we are working from, but you can at least see more or less how we are, where we have our little headquarters. So we will talk about what skills do you need to work remotely. Well, first of all, I want to mention that there is a lot of skills that you need or help you to work remotely or work in general and more in remotely, and different companies would look maybe for different skills because different skills are important to them depending on what product they develop or what they do. But we decided to give you an insight into what we are looking for and what skills are the most important to be successful at komoot. So communication, I think it's an important skill wherever you are in life or at work. In a remote environment, it's extremely important to communicate efficiently. I'm not talking only about the communication like we have now, face-to-face, but because a lot of work happens in written form and on different Slack channels and project tools and stuff like that, you need to be very good and very precise and good in communicating what you are saying. And you learn that also by doing a lot. I've personally grown a lot into formulating my ideas in a way that they are clear to everyone and that everyone understands, but also that I say what or write what I need to write. So you definitely learn by doing, but I would say that it's one of the most important ones. Well, then the second one that we have on the list is independence. As remote work already says, a lot of time you're working on your own, in an environment where you can't just look around and tap somebody on your colleague on your shoulder and ask them for help. So a lot of time you need to figure out things on your own. You need to drive projects on your own. At komoot, as soon as you enter, you are given big projects, you drive impact, and you have a lot of freedom, and you're very independent, but that also comes with a lot of responsibility. And this independence to be able and not be afraid to drive projects, to just take a risk, to ask questions, to research a lot and things like that in order to make things happen, that's very important. Because komoot is not task-oriented at all. No one's going to tell you these are the 10 tasks that you need to do for the day. It's rather this is what we would like to get as an outcome of this project. Here you go, figure it out the way you want it, ask whoever you need to ask, learn whatever you need to learn, but it's basically on you to make it happen. So it's very important for us that you understand this and that you can independently do the best work that you can.
This one, I feel and from what we've seen from our community asking, and I think this is a tough one because a lot of people, for how we used to work before, a lot of us were used to someone, checking on us all the time and what are you doing and how are you doing it and things like that. So this kind of change is sometimes hard for some people.
Yeah, it definitely takes some adjustment, especially if you come from a very structured office environment, maybe, or from environment where you follow certain exact processes to get to certain point. But it's definitely something that it's trainable, learnable on the job too. But I kind of think that you need to have the will and drive to do that, because some people simply don't like that. Some people just like to do their task and go home, which is completely fine. But I think in the remote environment, it wouldn't fly so well.
Yes.
And that's very connected to actually the third skill, the self-motivation. I think some of our people think that this one is the most important. So it really depends who you ask. You need to be self-motivated to make things happen and to, get out of the bed when you need to get out of the bed. Don't scroll on your social media apps. It happens to everyone, of course. But basically, this intrinsic motivation that you have inside to make things happen, to be good at your job, to help the product grow, without anyone giving you any cookie for it.
Yes.
kind of thing. That just you do it because you want to get better by doing it, and by doing it also your work gets better, and like it's a circle. I think that's very important.
Yeah, we also have like agility on the board, which is probably also quite typical for komoot, since we are a quite dynamic company, I would say. So what it means, or what I mean by that, is that you need to be able to react flexible on different situations. And since you are not in an office and you don't have someone that talks you through the project like step by step, it's super important that when things change, you can adapt to it quite easily, and that you're like okay with trying things out, and if they don't work, to also let go and be more in a workflow, and go with the company as it grows. And I guess like probably this is the case for a lot of companies, but when you do work remote, it's like even more important that you have the skill, and that I think that you just go with the tasks as they come. And the other thing which is super important for us is that you show your curiosity, which also goes quite a lot with the ability to work independence, because a lot of times how it happens is that you get a project and like you have like one briefing or a kickoff of the project, and then you're more or less like self-driven into it. So it's super important, and we do have like a big why policy at komoot. So we always ask like, but why do we do it this way? And it's definitely super important to us that you show your curiosity, and that you have like a natural level of it. Maria, did you want to?
Yeah, maybe one curiosity, what happens at komoot. So like one of the things we do are our gatherings. You can actually see our last gathering picture on the top bottom right. And connected to curiosity, we have like a fail award. So we actually reward the person who failed the most in the past year. And a lot of times it comes from this, because like people are curious and they are trying out new things, and they just sometimes don't work. So like we have developers who like crash the app for 2 days because on some update in the program or something like that. But we see it as a positive thing. We see it as a positive thing that you want to try new things, and that you want to learn new things, and that you are not scared to say if something didn't work out. But just want to add that.
That's very interesting. That's a fun fact. But you know, it also talks a lot about the culture in the company, that you're like, well, here it's a safe place to fail.
So how can you show that you have skills to work remotely in your application? I will start with the cover letter. When we talked about the communication and how it is important to have good communication, written communication, for us, that's how you can perfectly showcase it in the cover letter. And I know many companies don't do it these days. We have discussed this 1,000,000 times, believe me, like whether this makes sense or doesn't make sense, but we kind of always get back to wanting to have that. It doesn't mean that you need to write like 7 pages of cover letter, but it's exactly what we are looking for. Like what you're actually going to write in the cover letter, what you're going to write, there's something that I can't find in your CV, but like you are actually going to convince me that you're a great fit. So you read the job description, you spot out something that you think that you're really good at, you can't put it in the CV, you can describe it in the cover letter. And again, the tone of voice, of course, like level of English, because we all work in English, like that's easily discoverable in the cover letter. But in general, how you structure your thoughts. And even if it's not perfect, because obviously everyone's learning, and like I've grown a lot in 3 years. If I read my cover letter when I applied, I don't know if I would be very happy about that. But
would you hire yourself?
Of course. But yeah, for us, that's a perfect example where you can actually show your level of communication.
Personally, for me, cover letters, yeah, it takes time and everything, but I also think it's like a really nice way to show your personality too, because maybe sometimes in the curriculum it's kind of like more facts. In the cover letter, you can show a bit more of like how you say, like how you communicate, how you write, what, you know, connections you're doing between the company and yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And you can show your motivation too. Like if it's just like a generic thing that you're like, it can be pretty easily spotted if you're like just sending a cover letter to like 100 companies, or if you really tailor it for the job. I think if you take time with crafting your application, like you have a high chance to stand out and to get an interview. Okay, and then we still do ask for a CV too. Again, when your CV is to the point, you describe all of your previous experience in a way that it's digestible for us, that I can actually see what, not your job description, like of previous roles, but what you actually delivered and how you delivered it. Then it's kind of clear for me that you know how to structure the information, and that you know what information is important, and then you know how to make this information easily digestible for your stakeholders. If you spend a little bit on time on in crafting it, there's communication like perfectly shown there. You can show the independence through projects that you've been working on, all self-motivation, agility, curiosity, like you can perfectly craft your message. Okay, and last but not least, not to spend too much time on this, it's the application. So what we call application, for every role that you apply to Komoot, you have a set of questions that we ask you to fill. And this is basically already testing your technical skills for the role. So for example, if you're a data scientist, you would have a little bit of the Python code to correct, and when you're a web developer, you would have like a little snippet of the code to correct. If you're applying for a marketing role, there would be a marketing targeted question. This is a very easy way to show your technical skills actually for us. So that's a really easy way. Those are easy questions for people on the level that we are hiring. They should be able to answer them. And I think everyone would tell you that from recruitment industry, it's better to write one good application to the job that you really want than hundreds to job that you don't really care about.
If you really want to get a job that aligns with what you want, with what you need, you definitely need to invest some time in those things.
As we say, the great things don't come easy. So cool. I'll try click again to go to the next slide.
Great. So I'm going to continue here. So after you have successfully applied for the remote job, then you in the best case get invited for an interview. And also here, like I just want to talk about like how can you show your skills whilst the interview. And in the interview, it's also like a nice way, like you were asking Justine for, how can I show curiosity? The interview is the perfect place to do so. For the where, be aware of the company, be aware of the role. So just come in the interview and be prepared. Go the extra mile and not just like Google it like 5 minutes before the interview. So go on the webpage of the company and maybe check out their social media accounts and stuff like this. So just be aware like where you applied for and what the company is about. So yeah, it's just like also connected to the skills like that Maria was mentioning before, to be self-motivated and to show, okay, I'm prepared. I really want this. I really want to work for this company. I really want to work in this role, because like the goal at the end of the interview should be that you sign a contract, right? So for the why, the interview should be a perfect chance for you to shine, but also for you to get to know the company better. So in the best case scenario, it's your chance to ask questions and to then on the other hand, and what I think is always super, super nice in total, like just stay authentic and then like be prepared and use the time wisely. And then for the what, so at the end of the interview, mostly the recruiters are going to ask you if you do have any questions, and always please answer with yes. It's also just like another possibility to show that you're curious, to show that you're motivated to really work for that company, to show that you beforehand checked what the role is about, and to show, okay, I can dive a little bit deeper with my questions. I read myself into the role before, and that you have questions prepared that are not about the working hours or how many days I have off. So that they are more about the role itself and about the company.
Interviews are also a great way for a job seeker to find out if the company is the right one for them. Like to learn about, for example, how they work internally. If you, for example, value, I don't know, I really love, like working whenever. I really don't want to have like working hours. You can ask those things. Or I don't know, I'm planning to, travel around the world the next year. Will I be able to do that? And like, do you have people that also do the same? Like, there are so many things you can ask, but it comes down to also making this research about the company, knowing what you want, knowing what you're good at.
Yeah, totally. Like, I think it's from both sides. So it's not just you as a candidate need to be super nervous and show off. I think also the company needs to stood out for you, that you choose them. And also like here at komoot, I think it's connected to what Maria said before, that we actually like if, rather you ask questions without being scared of failing or having a wrong questions, than to hold yourself back, because also this is the chance to, after the interview, to then decide, okay, is this the job where I see myself for the next years or not? So you definitely should ask everything you want and be transparent, and don't hold back just because you think it's not the perfect question. So
perfect. So now, Justin, we're coming to the part when we talk about like how the candidates can improve their skills to work remotely, and possibly how to show if they have those skills. Apart from having a beautiful picture, we again divided it, structured it into 3 things. Well, first of all, the feedback is the perfect tool, whether it's in the job that you're already, or also like just from your friends or family, or the people that you care about, the feedback, to find out what you're good at. But not only that, but also what you can improve at. Like, my mom would tell you a lot of things that I can improve at. But in a good way. I know that she really means it well, and I've been working on them, and I must say that it does make my life easier. So for example, communication, if you know that you're like, you don't hold your emotions, maybe in the work environment, that's not the best way to go about it. So maybe you can reflect on yourself, and so what can I do differently to react better to this situation? It's just an exaggerated example, but what I'm trying to say is, it starts with you reflecting on yourself, what you think that you're good at, and what you think that could be better, or that you would like to improve. And then definitely the external feedback. I think that's the best source of information in order to go a step further. We do it all the time at komoot. We have a very open feedback culture, not for the good and for the bad, in a responsible and nice and friendly way. But in terms of the time management, or what we meant with the time management icon, is as we it's again connected to the skills that we are talking about. So when we were talking about self-motivation and independence, a lot of time remote work, you are working alone and it's hard to concentrate. So what's working good for me in this situation is to have, like, for maybe a lot of people know this Pomodoro technique, that you work for 25 minutes, then you have, I think, 5 minutes break, and then you work again, concentrated work for 25 minutes. And that's how a lot of people work. It does not work for me, I must say. But what works for me in terms of independence and self-motivation, that I really studied myself in terms of like, when am I the most productive? Like, when am I, like, when is my brain really good to do like analytic work? When is my brain, or like when I feel like just, you know, reading through articles if I need to research something. And when I like am really good with deep focused work and kind of organize my day around that. And it takes a lot of training and it takes experience and time to like improve that. But again, it's a skill that can be improved. So if you're struggling with that, to concentrate, to self-motivate yourself, this is something that helped me personally.
That's something I really love about remote work, that it has made me more conscious about how I work, how I feel comfortable, when do I like to do things, when not. And I think that's something sometimes in other environments, you don't have the chance to do that.
Definitely. And with the projects, or with the little icon on the bottom, what we mean by that is, if you want to work remotely and you have either a company that you want to work for, or like in general just want to work remotely, what I would suggest is go to like through job descriptions, and you will see recurrent skills that are really good for any kind of remote job, or for the company that you want to work. You will see what they are really asking for, and go through this list and kind of compare it. Again, self-reflection with where you're at, and if you're missing one of the skills, if it's a hard skill like technical requirements, then it might take some time to get to an experience level, and at that point you just need to like more experience. And unfortunately there is no shortcut there. But if it's a soft skill, there's also no shortcut there. But you can really, like, you can identify. I'll give you an example from my friends. So I have like a lot of them are geotechnical engineers, and that's like not remote friendly at all. Like, you really need to be on the side and like explore rocks. But during the Corona times, they actually were working from home, and what they were doing was a lot of like data admin and data selection and a lot of research into the rocks. And a lot of them like actually discovered that they don't mind doing it, and that the research was making them happy, and kind of gained during this year and a half a lot of skills and a lot of programs that no one else know. And they are now branching out, working remotely, because they are such a niche market. They are small, very little companies that work with these programs, but there are also very few people who know how to work with those programs. So like, there are opportunities where sometimes you don't even think about them, then you can get them. And just when you again ask yourself and are curious and search for those opportunities, you can find out at your work or outside of your work a lot of areas where you can actually test your skills and train them a little bit more.
Yes, and I think now it's so easy with, like, there are so many online tools where you can start a blog, you can start a project, you can, you know, like register your whatever you do at GitHub. You can, like, there are so many ways of showing that you're working on other things, and it's, you know, it really isn't super difficult or anything if you're really motivated to do that.
Perfect. I think we're coming to an end. This is just a slide to make sure that you ask us anything, guys, that you want, that you are curious. Please feel free. We will be happy to answer any questions that you might have via chat. I'll leave this to Rebecca.
Yes, just a little announcement, or like we use it. So yeah, these are like our roles that we do have open at the moment. And we would be super, super happy if you come and check it out. At the bottom of the page, you can see where to find us. But also if you click again, Maria. Thank you. We would be super happy if you connect with us via LinkedIn or on our homepage, since like we mentioned in the beginning that we growing quite fast. It can be that the roles that you were just able to see are already filled, or maybe we do have like new roles that are interesting for you. So on LinkedIn and as well as on our homepage, we always publish the newest roles, and we would be super, super happy to find you there and if you connect with us. And also, like now, you can find us in our booth, and we will be happy to have a chat with you right away. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. This was really great. And everyone just go to Komoot's booth. Maria and Rebecca will be there answering questions. So they will be happy to answer any question about tofu, about upcycling.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Cool.
Thank you so much, Rebecca and Maria. This was awesome. And yeah, I hope to see you around.
Thank you.